Some things are so familiar, we think we know everything about them. For centuries, astronomers felt that way too, about one of the most famous objects in the night sky. But turns out they were wrong. The celestial icon was hiding a secret, a huge one. I am, of course, talking about the Ring Nebula. It's a total landmark in the night sky. We've been fascinated by it for more than 200 years. It is a real cosmic celebrity. A favorite for everyone, from backyard stargazers to top tier scientists. I mean, just look at it. It is gorgeous. Its official name is M57 and it's hanging out for about 2500 light years away from us in the constellation Lyra. For pretty much everyone who has ever looked at it through a telescope, the thing has been super familiar and a well studied object. It was literally the textbook example of a nebula, or so we thought. So, the Ring Nebula is what's called a planetary nebula. And okay, the name is a little confusing. It actually has nothing to do with planets. It's just what happens when a star, kind of like our very own sun, starts to run out of gas. About 4000 years ago, the star at its center just sort of poofed up and launched all of its outer layers. And that created this incredible glowing cloud of gas we see today. And believe me, we have been watching this thing for a long time. I mean, it was discovered back in 1779. Since then, we've pointed just about every telescope imaginable at it, including the really big, powerful ones in space. You'd think there would be no more surprises left to find, right? Well, wrong. Because everything we knew and all that accumulated knowledge was about to be completely flipped on its head. Some brand new observations have totally rewritten the story of this iconic nebula. Tucked away in the middle of that familiar ring, unseen for centuries, was something massive. Something that, according to everything we know about how stars live and die, just shouldn't be there. What they found was this enormous long structure stretching right across the nebula center. And to give you just an idea of how big it is, get this. It's 500 times wider than Pluto's entire orbit around the sun. That's just so mind-bogglingly huge. And it's not just big, it is heavy. This thing contains an amount of iron that's about the same as the entire mass of Mars. Let that sink in. An entire planet's worth of iron just floating out there in the ghost of a dead star. Okay, so now what you're seeing here is not just a regular photograph. It is actually a data map. It's showing us the location of iron atoms that have been superheated and zapped by intense radiation. And you can see it clear as day, the sharp bar-like shape that until now was completely invisible. I love this quote from the lead scientist, Dr. Roger Wesson. He said, when they were looking out at the data, this bar just popped out as clear as anything. It wasn't some faint little smudge that they had to squint at. It was obvious, a total shocker, hiding in plain sight in one of the most studied objects in the night sky. So you're probably wondering, what changed? How did this giant iron bar suddenly appear? Well, that answer just isn't a bigger telescope, but a smarter one. Yeah, this is a big question, right? We've got Hubble, we've got the incredible James Webb telescope. So, how in the world did we miss a Mars sized bar if all this time? Well, the answer is all in the technology. See, The old way of doing things, even with super powerful telescopes, was to basically take little samples of light from different spots. But with this new instrument called Weave, does something totally game changing. It maps the chemical footprint of the entire nebula all at once. It's like going from looking through a keyhole to seeing the whole room. So it turns out the problem wasn't about getting a sharper picture, it was a whole new way of analyzing light. See, the iron doesn't glow very brightly compared to the other stuff out there, like hydrogen. So it was always there, but its faint signal was just getting washed out by everything else. We've let the astronomers basically filter out all the other light and see only the iron. And boom, there it was. But finding this thing was just the first step. Now, astronomers have a brand new and pretty fantastic mystery on their hands. The mystery is simple, but it's a big one. Where on earth did this thing come from? And right now, there are two main theories on the table, and they're both pretty mind bending. Theory number one, it's kind of like a stellar fossil, maybe a weird directional blast from a dying star that our models just don't predict. Or, and this is my favorite because it's just so wild, could it be the ghost of a planet? The vaporized, metal rich leftovers of a rocky planet that just got way too close for comfort and was torn into shreds by a star. And as Professor Janet Drew explains, they just don't know which one is right yet. The key to figure out what other elements are also mixed in with all of that iron is the true solution to this problem. That chemical signature is going to be the big clue, the smoking gun that points to either the star itself or a poor vaporized planet. So, how do they solve this cosmic whodunit? Well, scientists are digging deep into the data, hunting for any clue they can find. This is so cool. This comparison really shows you how unique the iron is. On the left, you have the sharp, clear bar structure of the iron, and to the right, that's where all the other stuff, like hydrogen, is. They look totally different. The iron is clearly doing its very own thing, and that is a huge hint that it has a completely different origin story from the rest of the nebula. Okay, here's another key clue, the way the bar is moving. Now, your first guess might be that it's just a jet of gas shooting out from the star, right? Seems logical, but the data says nope. This part is absolutely fascinating. So, the light from the iron is redshifted, which is just science speak for that it is moving away from us. But here's the really weird part. The iron is moving away from us on both sides of the star. If this were a simple jet like water from a hose, then one side would be moving away from us, also known as redshifted, and the other side would be moving towards us, which we call blue shifted. Since we're not seeing any of that, it completely rules out simple jet theory. Something else is going on. And this is where it gets even cooler. When they took the iron map from the Weave and laid it over infrared images from the James Webb Space Telescope, they saw something amazing. The iron bar lines up perfectly with a dark stripe where all the cosmic dust seems to be missing. This strongly suggests that whatever created the bar was so powerful that it destroyed the dust in its path, which in turn released all of that iron that was trapped inside the dust. So, at the end of the day, we're just left with an absolutely incredible discovery that completely rewrites the history of a celestial icon, and it leaves us with one final tantalizing question. I mean, if a structure this massive, the ghost of a planet maybe, can lie there hidden in one of the most familiar objects of the sky, it makes you wonder what other huge cosmic secrets are out there hiding in plain sight, just waiting for us to find a new way to look. That's all for today. This was Soumitra Nafre. And if I don't see you, good afternoon, good evening, and good night. Thank you for watching. And if you do have any concerns regarding the information in this video, please do consult our sources document in the description. And if you have a doubt, please do add it in the comment section. Once again, thank you for watching and have a brilliant day ahead.